Are you looking for the best home theater receiver? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best home theater receiver on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1, Sony STR-DH790, best budget. The only Sony representative on my list, the STR-DH790, also released in 2018, is a great device for home theater. Unlike the Yamaha RX-V385, which is not much cheaper at all, it has a 7.1 channel configuration, even 7.2 thanks to the optional subwoofer output, offering us the option to add overhead speakers in 5.1.2 configuration. But when you compare it to the 7-channel Yamaha RX-A2A and Marantz Cinema 60, it's obvious that when you pay less, you get less. One of the reasons Sony makes such inexpensive receivers is the build quality and design, which hasn't changed in decades. Even paying attention to the weight of 16.6 pounds, it's safe to say the internal components are inexpensive and won't last long. This doesn't mean the AVR will break in a year, but after a few years, its sound will deteriorate. The buttons and controls are also noticeably worse quality, walking around a bit under your fingers, and since there haven't been any updates in years, the remote also looks like your grandmother brought it in. But wait to flip, you want to consider a budget option, right? Buying a new receiver for you in a few years will not be difficult, and that's its advantage over expensive ones. For its price, the receiver has limited connectivity, very similar to the RX-V385. There is one optical audio input, one coaxial audio input, 4 analog audio inputs, the above-mentioned 2 pre-out subwoofer and USB, for power supply only, unfortunately, 4 HDMI inputs, supports 4K and UHD at up to 60 Hz, and HDCP 2.2 output. You can watch videos in HDR10, HLG and Dolby Vision, 3D, deep color. Number 2, Yamaha RX-V385. Entry-level AVR. Second among the budget ones, and also the most inexpensive, is the RX-V385, another Yamaha representative on my list, 2018 model. The receiver is a 5.1 channel system, and despite some compromises related to the low price, it offers an optimal selection of options. As for the quality of construction and design, I personally like the Yamaha RX-V385 better than the Sony STR-DH790. At least, it is prettier, more modern, or something. But when I took it in my hands for the first time, not realizing that the body was soft, I almost left a dent. Keep in mind, still, the 17-pound weight, more than the 7-channel STR-DH790, speaks volumes about the pretty good internal components. Still, the brand holds the mark. No matter what you say, you can feel it in the details. Buttons and regulators look more reliable, but you can feel plastic in everything when you touch them. Well, it is not strange for the budget segment. The Yamaha RX-V385 has limited connections, including a USB input, front, 1 digital optical audio input, 1 coaxial digital audio input, 3 analog audio inputs, and composite video jacks, 3 inputs and 1 output. As you see, there is no phono input, so the connection of a record player is possible, but with an external preamplifier, or turntable with a built-in one. Of course, budget receivers have fewer HDMI ports. Sony STR-DH790 has the same number, for example, and in this case, we have 4 HDMI input, 4K Ultra HD pass-through, 3D pass-through, and 4K, 60p, 4:4:4 upscaling, and 1 HDMI output, with HDCP 2.3, ARC, EIC, which makes it possible to view content in HDR10, Dolby Vision, and hybrid log gamma formats. There are as many connections as the 7-channel Sony STR-DH790, which means it's already pretty good. Number 3. Denon DRA-800H, Stereo. Once again, Denon is on my list. This time it's the 2019 budget DRA-800H, which differs from the Sony STR-DH790 and Yamaha RX-V385 in that it has only 2 channels. So yes, it's a home theater amplifier with the capabilities of an Avenue receiver, which means for almost the same price, you can get something more than the other two, but not surround sound. Let's start with the weight, shall we? I always tell you how important it is to know it in advance. So here's the Denon DRA-800H at 18.3 pounds with only 2 built-in amplifiers. This exceeds the weight of the STR-DH790 and RX-V385, which automatically means that quality components are installed inside. Disclaimer: for the budget segment, compared to other models in the category, the design is nothing new. I've already said Denon doesn't bother with design changes, but I want to note that bass, treble, and balance are regulated not by buttons, as in most budget variants, but by round knobs. They respond quite smoothly in the hand, so the adjustment is more precise. DRA-800H, as it should be a budget device, has a limited number of connectors. The manufacturer focused on video capabilities and stereo sound. There is the ability to connect 2 pairs of speakers, and 2 subwoofers, a phono input, audio separation into 2 multi-room zones, digital audio coaxial and optical inputs, also 5 HDMI inputs with SEC support, ALM pass-through, 3D signal pass-through, 4K signal pass-through, 1 HDMI output, with 4K capability and ARC support, and USB. Number 4. Marantz SR8015. Best Premium. If you are interested in top-rated Avenue receivers, you must have a big house because the 11.2-channel Marantz SR8015 will need a big room, just like the second member of this premium segment, Denon AVR-X6700H. But I'll tell you about it a little later. Released in 2020, the model with a hinged front cover, behind which the control of basic functions is hidden, looks modern, but the main beauty is on the rear panel. First, it is worth noting the possibility of expanding the system up to 13 channels, thanks to the possibility of connecting an additional stereo receiver. Thus, you can enjoy the full possibilities of surround sound using overhead speakers to build a 5.2.6 or 7.2.4 system for Dolby Atmos, as well as broadcast audio to 3 zones. If you have a large family with different preferences, having a scandal-free evening is no problem now. SR8015 looks modest, understated, and even simple, but you can't help but feel that chicness. It is clear that you can, and should, expect something amazing for its price, but still, the quality is amazing. The metal is treated as if you're holding a handmade jewelry chest. The weight of the receiver, 38.4 pounds, also hints at this. It's unbreakable and will serve you, your children, and your grandchildren, and with the same quality as the first week of use. There are expensive components inside this machine, and gold-plated RCA connectors are another thing that affects signal transmission quality. All the buttons are sensitive exactly as required, with no pressure, no clicking, just a delight for those who understand good technique. Released in 2020, the model with a hinged front cover that hides the main function controls looks luxurious. Even the small round screen here doesn't annoy me too much because there's a full-size LCD hidden under the cover. But the main beauty is on the back panel. Number 5. Denon AVR-X6700H. You might laugh, but the Denon AVR-X6700H and Marantz SR8015 are almost identical in their options. The X6700H, also released in 2020, also has a hinged cover to protect the main front panel controls and is also an 11.2 channel surround sound receiver with an expandable configuration to 13.2 with an optional receiver, allowing for 5.2.6 or 7.2.4 systems. And the AVR-X6700H has a rectangular LCD as opposed to the round one on the SR8015. But the difference is very noticeable if you compare X6700H and X3800H. Also presented in this review, the AVR-X6700H once cost as much as the Marantz SR8015 does today. But the cost of one and the other has been reduced as time marches on, and some features are considered obsolete. This mainly refers to the fact that the receivers only have one HDMI input that supports 8K resolution video. The AVR-X6800H has replaced the AVR in question, which aligns more with modern video requirements. But there are no claims to the quality of construction. This model can also serve for a very, very long time. The processor, chips, connectors, and control buttons are made with such care for the user that if I were to choose between two models, I would definitely choose this one. Well, because I don't see the point of paying for a name. I realized Denon's advantages in this sense long ago. I don't even know if it's worth describing the connections because they are the same as the Marantz capabilities. I'll try to shorten it. So, multi-room for 3 zones and has built-in for wireless audio to other rooms are there. By the way, maybe Denon is always a little cheaper for similar models to the Marantz, partly because hose is a native development of the former and is almost always used in the latter. You can also connect everything to everything thanks to a wide variety of jacks, old equipment, component and coaxial inputs, a vinyl player, phono input, a CD player, Blu-ray DVD, video console, Xbox, PS, Nintendo, and more.